Hello everybody, my name is Yoshikigami, President of Boss. I'm talking from Japan. Hi Jeff, good evening.
Hello, Yoshi-san. It's great to see you again. We're talking from Los Angeles. It's 11:30 at night here. And we're here for Talk with Boss, which is a weekly program which we get to do. And we get to ask Yoshi Kigami, president of Boss, about all kinds of fun things behind the scenes in the land of Boss and the stories and history of things. And it's always fun, exciting, and very unique. And so, Yoshi, do you want to tell everybody what today's theme is?
Yeah, today we are going to talk about the latest release, the anniversary model, SD-1A and MT-2-3A.
Correct, right? Yeah, so these two models were announced last week. The SD-1-4A, the 4A stands for 40th anniversary. So it's the 40th anniversary of the Super Overdrive. Super excited about them. And you know what's cool about it is the main thing is it's just a celebration, and we've inverted the colors, right? So traditionally it's a yellow with black text, and now it's black with yellow text. It looks great, doesn't it?
Yes. Also, you can see silver screw, and also the box is a special 40th anniversary logo on top.
Right. So it's totally a collector's item and something really exciting to have in your collection. Along with that, we have the MT-2-3A, 3A, which stands for 30th anniversary of the Metal Zone, right? And we've talked about both these pedals a little bit earlier on in the year. And with this one, it's got this really chic gray lettering. It's kind of none more black, right? If it was any more black, you wouldn't be able to read anything on it. It's so cool, right?
Yeah. So a little bit sick, but I love this combination of black body and gray print, and also you might get a little bit modern image from this outlook, but I believe this image is very much fit for Metal Zone image.
Oh yeah, it's so dark and thick, just like the pedal can be. So it's really cool. So the SD1 has sold for 40 years, and the MT2 has been selling now for 30 years. And there's huge fans for both of them. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So SD1 is very much versatile and much for a lot of wider range of music. So everybody's keep using SD1 for a long time. So still they are loving SD1 sound. And recently, Japanese magazine did some overdrive popularity vote, and we got a #1 position by SD1. Thank you very much. And also MT2, maybe around under 50 years old people. Sometimes I talked with them. They said, "Oh, MT2 was my first pedal." They started with MT2 with metal music, right?
Yes.
So still, there are a lot core fans of MT2. We sold 1 million units by this MT2. Can you believe that?
That's such an insane number to comprehend. That we've sold 1 million. I mean, Boss has been around for so many years that you would assume there's a lot of numbers of like SD1s, DS1s, and things like that. But MT2 is relatively new, only being 30 years old compared to some of those guys. To sell 1 million of them, if you were to stack them high or line them up, how long would it be?
Yes. So our staff calculated that crazy thing. 1 million MT2 stacked up. That's 123 kilometers. That is 403,000 feet. Most highest mountain, Mount Everest, that is 29,000 feet. So that is, MT2, stacked on MT2 is almost 14 times higher than Everest, And also I said we sold 1 million units in 30 years. So it's same too. Every 15 seconds all over the world, somebody is buying MT2. And I don't know, our staff calculate including the leap year, Olympic year or not. I don't care.
Yeah. Right. They have special math for figuring this out, which your staff is, full of very bright people. So we trust them with the math inside the product. And I guess we can trust them with the math to calculate how big it would be. I mean, that's 1 million petals is in English, it's 76 miles high, which is crazy, right? So 123 kilometers is crazy. Now, while when we talk about the MT2, it was a massive, huge runaway success in the 90s when it first came out. But it's still increasing each day. It seems to be growing more and more. And we can thank our many great fans about that. And thank you everyone at home for that. That's just so cool. Now, we've already talked a little bit this year about the SD-1 and the MT2. Would you like to talk about them from a different point of view? Like, let's analyze the sounds visually, and maybe you could tell people, to show us some on an oscilloscope. Could we do that?
Yeah. So we always talked about a sound by word. It's totally difficult to explain how sound is different. But so today we are going to check the sound from the other side. So this is really interesting experience for you guys. You can see the sound difference. Visualizing sound is kind of like a very unique experience. We are always, our engineers are always checking the sound signal by using this kind of method. But maybe today we are going to use oscilloscope.
Okay, so today we're going to use it, an oscilloscope, so we can see what's going on. Yoshi, can you maybe tell everybody about what an oscilloscope is, so they understand it a little bit better?
Yes, this equipment, oscilloscope, is just visualizing the signal. So maybe you guys can see this kind of picture on technical book of effector. Oscilloscope shows all the signals, DC, AC, audio, radio frequency, whatever, everything you can see. And this screen, vertical axis showing time, voltage, and also horizontal axis shows time. So today, we are setting up SD-1 like this, and this equipment has oscillator. So oscillator signal comes into SD-1 and output connected to oscilloscope. So you can monitor. Oh, this is on. You can monitor SD-1 or MT2 output. So shall we start? Okay.
Sure. So just to be clear, we're sending not a guitar signal through it, right?
Yes. Now you can see sine wave. Guitar signal is, not stable. It's good for checking the sound by ear, but watching the signal, this sine wave is very much stable, and you can check the detail. So we are always using this kind of oscilloscope for checking the sound signal. So today we are using 1 kHz sine wave. So let's see what change will be happening.
Okay, let's go ahead and start.
Yep. Okay. And the sine wave, I need to talk about the sine wave. This wave is very much simple, a primitive signal. Sine wave, it's a single frequency and sometimes called pure tone. So all the sound is combination of this sine wave, like a square wave, sawtooth wave. They are combination of sine wave and overtone. So different level of overtone and different phase or something, you can create any sound. So maybe it's not, you cannot hear such a sound in the natural environment, but sometimes you can hear the sound from tuner. That's something generate a standard tone. That is sine wave. And also, why use this sine wave? Because, as I said, this is a single frequency. That means it doesn't have any overtone. So this can show what sound is generated from pedal. Input this very primitive 1 kHz sine wave, then our pedal generate another harmonics or something. So we can check such a change. So this sine wave is not almighty signal, but sometimes we are using sine wave, square wave, and burst type of signal, or sometimes impulse or sweeping frequency sweep signals. It depends on what we want to check, But today, I think sine wave is best, So you understand, Jeff?
Yes. So we're putting in the sine wave to get the purest tone, and for everybody at home, a sine wave, as Yoshi said, doesn't have any harmonics as long as it's perfectly identical on positive and negative, and so it's a rather unique situation. So let's have a little look at it.
Okay, so now you can see only original sine wave. Then turn on SD1. Oh, this is very much popular curve for us. Maybe you can see slightly difference between top and bottom because SD1 is using in symmetrical overdrive circuit that is using one diode and another direction 2 diode. That is coming from OD1 original design, and also that is coming from tube amp distortion. So you can see top that is higher than bottom. It's a little bit strange expression from center
Right.
top and compared to top and bottom. Top is higher than bottom, and also curve is very much smooth. Maybe we can guess the sound is kind of like mellow, not hard one, So that is a very much smooth sound. Maybe you can see much more difference if we check the MT2. Okay, change to MT2. Now on MT2. Wow.
Right.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Yes. Distortion sound is totally different from overdrive. So overdrive is much more smooth, and distortion circuit top and bottom is kind of like crashed to square. That is a character of distortion, high gain distortion.
Right. And for the audience at home, I think one of the things that we should maybe explain is that the way we typically get guitar distortion is you take your guitar signal and we start adding gain until it starts to push against these rails, the positive and negative part that you're seeing on the oscilloscope. And as it pushes on those, it starts to create harmonics. And the first example of the SD1, where it was a little flatter on the bottom side, that'll start to bring out, Yoshi said, like tube type distortion. Sometimes we say that's even order harmonics, right? Like the second, fourth, and that's a staple in all the Boss pedals for many, many, many years. But on the MT2, it had a much more edgy sound and shape to it because it was so distorted and so unique.
Yes. So a little bit explain about a waveform. You can see kind of like a square wave right now. And in the top, right shoulder, that's a little bit moving up. That means a little bit low is up. So if I change the EQ setting, moving up low EQ, then right shoulder is moving up more. And also left shoulder of the top, that is high frequency. You can see the difference.
Oh yeah.
Turn up the EQ high, then turn down. So left edge shoulder shows high end and right shoulder shows low end. So up is enhancing, down is suppressed. So that maybe that is a regular kind of waveform change. And also you can see a little bit unique character on top, middle of top, right?
Yep.
That's you can see the dip on the top, right? So that is kind of like a unique character of MT2. That's created by pre and post EQ of clipping circuit. So that is MT2's sound character.
Right, and those EQs, which are post distortion, are super, super powerful. It can really shape the harmonics that are created in its very strong clipping signal. Those pedals are super, super interesting. And I'm thankful that we can try and show people on those. Do you want to explain how the graph is being used to understand it a little bit better?
Yes, today we just use 1 kHz sine wave. So if we change frequency, you can see much more different character. It depends on the pedal. That means it depends on sound. What sound we created. And also if we use another waveform, like a square or something. And also this is only kind of like one still picture of the sound. So this doesn't show everything of the sound character. But this is exact one still picture of the sound,
Right. And, as you said, there are many different ways to look at them, and they're way more complex when they have a complex signal like your guitar coming from. But it's really powerful to be able to take an isolated look at it and see what's going on there, which is really cool. So a couple questions have come up as we've been talking, Yoshi. Number one, people have been asking about whether or not the new versions of the pedals are surface mounts.
Oh, this SD1 is totally same to latest SD1. So that means we are using surface mount pre-circuit board.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And we talked in previous episodes about how we can miniaturize things into surface mount, and with good engineering, that's totally doable and easier to manufacture, and is a powerful tool for creating a stable product and sound. Another question that's come up is how the SD1 can affect the sound when you use it as a boost drive from the amp. Yoshi, can you answer that? I'm trying to understand the question a little bit better.
Yeah.
How does I think the question they might be asking, how does the distortion of it affect the amplifier distortion a little bit?
Amplifier, you cannot change the setting. It's not easy, but you are not always playing solo. sometimes you have to play as a backing guy,
Mhm.
and also sometimes you need to push up your sound. So some pedal is giving same sound, amplifier, distortion, overdrive, but if you want to boost your sound and also with some different character from the amplifier, compact pedal is very much useful for such a purpose.
Yes, right. And one of the things that is interesting is that when we use a pedal like an SD1, like we talked about how it's got a little bit of an asymmetry, it's now adding harmonics, and those harmonics are now hitting your tube amplifier, which are adding harmonics based on those harmonics. And you get things like interactions, like sum and difference, and some of those things that can be really, really, really unique. So it's a lot of fun. And for me, when we talk about amplifiers, how the last tube in the amplifier is really the first tube to start clipping.
Yeah.
So when we talk about an overdrive pedal, most people say I'm hitting the front end of my amp harder, but the truth is it's hitting the last tube a little bit harder. And often a Class AB amp is kind of symmetrical for a second, and when you add that to it, it actually pushes it a little bit more into even order harmonic, which is kind of nice. So I think it's really, really cool.
And also, making sound by amplifier, it depends on how loud we can play. If you turn down master volume, the sound exactly changed. And if you have enough time to rehearse, and also every night playing at the same place with the same band, maybe you can have a concrete setting. But if you change the venue every night and you don't have a rehearsal time, the making sound almost by pedal board. And also don't too much getting overdrive from amplifier. That is very much stable. You can reduce rehearsal time and getting always stable same your target sound from pedal board.
Yes,
that's reality,
Yes, it is totally a reality. Unless, of course, you're using something like a katana, which can be turned down, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So in addition to answering some questions that are out there, we should probably say hello to a few of our friends. So Rusty, hello, Jared, Maud, Kosi, Alberto, Karan, Chris. It's really fun that we started doing this show about not even quite a whole year and a half ago, and we have a nice little audience of people who come to see what you have to talk about each week, Yoshi. So that's really, really, really fun. So Yoshi, thank you for your explanation on the SD-1-4A and SD-2-3A. Now, for everybody at home, just so you know, these are not a limited run. There's only 50 of them, and you've got to rush to the store. They will be available through all of 2021, right, as anniversary models. So please, go to your dealer, and they'll be available soon, if not already. And we're really excited for you to have these to your collection because they're a lot of fun. Over the past couple of years, we had, like a few years ago, we had the SD-1-4A. So I've almost got an entire pedal board now of all black Boss pedals. So I'm starting to have a lot of fun with that. The stealth board, I'm going to call it. Anyways, Yoshi, you want to tell everybody what the theme is for next week?
Yeah, today we tried to show the sound on waveform, but this is totally new challenge for us. So we should continue a little bit about a waveform analysis series. So we are going to introduce another overdrive distortion pedals next week by using same system.
Yeah, that's really fun, right? We can educate people and show them, both they know the sound because they're classics, but also now see a little bit about what they do. For everyone at home, I really hope you enjoyed this stream. We do this once a week and get together with Yoshi, and there's always some interesting conversation. We always learn something, and we're just lucky that you're here, and we really appreciate it. Please leave comments, impressions in our chat box. We'd love to hear from you. If you have suggestions for future shows, of course, we'd love to hear that as well. Comments about this show or questions, we'll try and get back to and answer for you. And hopefully we'll see you all next on our next stream, which will be Wednesday, June 2nd. And it'll be at 7:30 a.m. in the UK. It'll be at 3:30 p.m. in Japan on June 2nd. And we actually slipped back a day and go on June 1st at 11:30 p.m. on the previous day because of the whole time change with the Earth. So I hope I see you guys there, and we just look forward to seeing you. So thank you, Yoshi.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. I'll see you next week.